Welcome to Brit Wrestling Fan Podcast. I'm your host, Andy, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Pantera. How are we doing this week, mate?
Hey, Andy, what's going on, man? You and I switched roles today. So you're the one wearing the hat. I'm the one laissez-faire, I guess you could say. I need a haircut today, man. But you know who needed a haircut?
Hmm?
I don't know. I'm asking you. I'm just trying to do a good
Do
segue
you know
into
what?
this,
I
brother.
thought I thought you were going to do a thing there where you went into the what they're trying to plan on AEW with Orange Cassidy and Matt Hardy in a hair versus hair match.
About time. Isn't this a little
Mm.
too far along? I figured that would have happened at some point, but
Yeah, they've been teasing it for a while, but last night it kind of, I don't know whether it's me reading into it too much, but they seem like they're starting to try and tease that. But be an interesting one because I don't know who loses the hit.
I think
Mm.
Matt's maybe losing it anyway
Yeah.
because Orange Cassidy has that look. you know. But I think that with Matt, he's becoming he's gonna have his 948th kid. So
Mm.
I think he's gonna get, he's gonna lose that hair anyway. So
Yeah, I suppose so. So anyway, week's wrestling, mate. I think the biggest thing that we should start with is the dark side of the ring. What do you think of the episode?
crazy, um, crazy. These are just some of the tropes that you heard about on the road, all brought to life in one. I guess it's about an 18-hour journey.
Mm.
Um, So to me, watching it, everything coming to life was pretty crazy. But this is stuff we heard about over years, but here it is 20 years later, you go, oh my God, this is just insane. So to me, I just, you know, I was dumbfounded by some of the statements that people made too. And I got to give
Mm.
it up for what's her name, Gilly, the
Yeah,
stewardess
just do this.
that she was so candid and was so strong during everything. So that to me, I appreciated hearing her side of everything. So just very cool.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've got a lot to go through this week, but I wanted to start off with that because I do feel like it's something that needs speaking about. I think that she was very, very candid in what she said, and she was very brave in what she said as well. Do you think, I know we've already seen Tommy Dreamer get relieved. I mean, I don't think he's being relieved of his duties, but I know he's being suspended at present. Do you think Flair gets blackballed off the back of it?
This would be a good time for AEW to not do anything with him.
Mm.
So this will give the third manager to Andrade, and then the fourth once Flair gets back. Um, are you surprised at Ric Flair being this way? No,
No.
I don't. And that's what people don't realize too. So it's just so nuts, man, isn't it? The whole thing,
Mm.
the whole I just don't understand why anybody has to do that. I was never in a power of money, fame, and all that, but I just never once wanted to say, you know what, I feel like, I could get that chick, and let me do this. It's so bizarre,
I
you know.
know, I know. I've always been the same. I always used to make a laugh and a joke about it, saying if I have tried to throw me moves on a chick, and when I say throw me moves on it, I mean obviously try and flirt or whatever, and she's not interested. I'm just kind of like, I'll piss off then. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to waste my time with
Exactly.
that.
Exactly. Why would you too,
No.
as human beings? But I don't know, just the amount of alcohol. I tweeted to RVD before because I try and get these guys as soon as they tweet. I asked him, I said, are there any pictures of Michael Hayes' ponytail?
Oh. Well,
What do you
apart from
think?
that, go
Do
on,
you
sorry.
think that why would you suspend Matt Hardy instead of actually, I'm sorry, not Matt Hardy. I'm watching this from
Dreamer.
yesterday. Why would you just suspend Dreamer? What do you have just to keep him on your roster? There's nothing.
I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the want to just let things die down and then bring them back. Maybe, as I say, that's not the way I do things, but maybe that's what they're looking at.
Could you imagine if AEW did that with Jimmy Havoc?
Well, apparently he's working in Tesco or something now, isn't he?
I thought UPS or something like that
Yeah,
too.
something
So
like that. He's like a delivery driver of some sort, isn't he? Well,
good for
yeah.
him. Good for him. He clean. I want to know. Do you think he's still Steve Martin's son?
Yes.
I hope that is so legit. I'm watching that show on Hulu with Steve Martin too, and that guy hasn't aged. He's always looked that old, but
hasn't he?
yeah, but he's just a historic genius. But hopefully, could you imagine? Jimmy Havoc knocks on his door. He says, "Dad, I have a package for you. Here's my birth certificate that you signed."
I had Sergeant Bilko was one of my all-time faves. Like, I love that film. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But it's one of them with that episode in general. It's one of the guys from Wrestle Buddies, Chris. He messaged me yesterday and he was like, "Have you seen it yet?" And I said, "No, I haven't watched it. It's obviously we don't get it live in the UK, so we get it on YouTube pretty much the next day." So I was like I said, "That's me tonight's viewing." And all he said to me was, "Get ready for a roller coaster of emotions." And he was 100% right. It was really well done. It was well, it was sad the way it was put together, but it was really well done, and you've got to give it to the guys who've done it for the way that they put it together. My sad thing about it is the fact of like Brock Lesnar, when Terry Runnels was telling her story and stuff, I thought like that was kind of nothing that's ever happened to him over that, which is kind of sad, isn't it? The way just because he's protected so much on that side of things, and shows you that there still is this kind of the Me Too movement of what they call it. It still shows you that there's still something in that. The fact that nothing was happening there. And then the other side of it, which really, do you know what? It affected me more than I actually thought it would. Was the bit where Dustin was singing into the tannoy.
What do you think that was just because he was upset, or he was just trying to impress the stewardess?
No, he was singing to Terry apparently.
Okay,
They'd
because
not
I
long
didn't get
split
that.
up. Yeah, so they'd not long split up, and he was hammered, and he started singing to Terry, basically saying that no, my life's nothing without you, which was kind of again really really sad.
Yeah.
So
You
it
know
was
what?
kind.
You know what I appreciate though? Like I see how much they both love their daughter. Like, and she seems to be a well brought up kid. You see pictures, and they're very proud of her, and it's nice to see, especially a lot of people come from a split home, and you love seeing success stories like that. Obviously, I don't know what the girl does for a living, but it's just they're there for her kid, and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? So we move on from Dark Side of the Ring. I mean, it's an episode that I think everybody needs to watch, and
please check it out.
Yeah, I think there's also one last thing I will say about Dark Side of the Ring is, do you feel like since season 1 till now, they're getting better? They're getting better at the way the presentation and the way they're telling the stories. I mean, by anything else.
Yeah. I think that usually with shows like that, the first season's like a litmus test because a lot of people aren't going to be on board for it. I mean, and obviously season 2, you saw a change in narrators with the way they did the first season was Montreal Screwjob. They did that. They did the Gino Hernandez. I think Gino was the first season as well. And yeah, Bruiser Brody was season 2.
No, Bruiser Brody was the actual first episode.
Okay. There you go. So when they established themselves with such clout that they were actually able to, I guess, perfect their product. And that's why, you guys have Jim Ross on there, Jim Cornette, Chris Jericho. I was surprised to see RVD do an interview like that yesterday. Or that's when I watched it. But you're having some mainstay people, especially Bret Hart too, talking very candidly about the whole situation. So that's why they're getting better, because more and more people are getting on board to do that.
Yeah. I hope it's not the last season. So
are you looking? What are you looking forward to? What episode are you looking forward to this week? This season?
On this season, the steroid trial.
Which one?
The steroid trial. Is it with Vince McMahon versus the American government, the steroid trial?
Yes. Okay, yeah.
I think for me that's there's a big story to be told there, and as much as we've read into it and you know, stuff like that. I feel like there's a lot to unwrap that probably hasn't been told. And if they get the guests right and stuff like that, then it'll, you know, I think it can be really, really good.
I'm not giving it away, but I know the guest that they have there is pivotal, and he's
Yeah.
probably the most important player that's took place for that trial. So,
Okay. So
yeah.
just as we're
So
discussing news anyway, you know, the steroid trial is probably a good thing to leap into it before we get into the unpack the week's action. Mr. Yang, I don't know whether you've seen him in the news this week, and it looks like he's trying to go after WWE again. I think it's not his first time going after them. What do you think of that?
I'm not sure if that's for him to run for office again. He's got a valid point. You know, you have open contractors that, you know, you're obligated. WWE has these contracts with these people that they're obligated to, you know, perform at certain days and be on the road with them, but they're not going to pay for their travel expenses to a point, I believe, unless you're like a upper tier person like Roman Reigns at this point. You know, hopefully they pay for Jimmy Uso's valet because I don't want that guy on the road. But I do believe that these people deserve health insurance. You know, these guys shouldn't just have to go out there. Like your health insurance premium is going to go up if you're taking on these insane risks. Yeah, I mean, we both are in the business. We understand how that works. You know, so to write a premium like that.
I think the biggest one for me is the travel as well. I didn't realize they have to pay for their own travel.
Yep.
Which I just thought ridiculous.
I'm a cheap bastard too, so I would have no problem staying at a motel. You know,
well, I'd sleep in my car, mate. As you know, I'm ex-army, mate. I'd sleep under my car or something, you know, wouldn't
Yeah. I don't think there's a problem with that. I mean, you know, could you imagine you're at a you're at a motel with your parents going to like, you know, a Hall of Fame or a museum, and then all of a sudden Braun Strowman walks out while he's smoking a cigarette.
I know. I think nowadays, though, especially with the way that these stars are ready-made and, you know, readily available, should we say, you know, I can't believe they've got to pay. I don't know if they have to pay for their own accommodations, not something I've seen, but the fact that they have to pay for their own travels a little bit to me, but I don't know, maybe other people will disagree with me on that one, but I, you know, think like, especially for security reasons, they should all be in the same hotel when they're touring.
It's what happens when you invest money in the Lex Express. But when you also, I would have loved to have seen that bus tour. And that's another documentary that was scrapped too for no reason. But I would have loved to have seen that. You know, with the Lex Luger one that WWE produced, you know, 4th of July, they scrapped that. But maybe that goes hand in hand with what we were talking about beforehand, though, because look at all the booze bill that they racked up, you know, that WWE paid for that flight coming back here.
Yeah.
Maybe it goes hand in hand, you know. So when you take responsibility for your own actions and your own payment, your own wallet, it tends to curb the way that these people act on the road. So who knows?
All right, so we'll move on anyway. Let's start with Raw. The big man's done it finally. Big E wins the title. I don't know. Do you know what? I've had a bit of a mixed emotions over this. Happy he won the title, really happy he won the title. But the way that they set it up, where he posted a tweet saying he was in intention to cash in the money in the bank, and he turns up in the first segment, and you know, obviously it's a ratings grab, which I get that is, I guess, part of the ratings grab. But do you think it kind of took the shine off his whole win, or are you just happy he won it?
He's happy he's won it. But you know what the problem is, though? When your main event is on and people are looking at a curtain more than the people, than the wrestlers. And that could be in two different ways. And this is something that's developed recently for WWE. When you have those cash-ins, people expect it. They're looking at the curtain. When I was a kid growing up, and you'd be going to events too, wouldn't you be looking at the curtain a lot during certain points?
Yeah.
You know, that just shows you got too many run-ins.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you know, I'm just worried because I think, you know, I said this when Kofi won the title, and I'm going to say it again, unfortunately, with Big E winning the title. Okay, he's won the title. Now what?
Yep. Yeah, I am with you 110%. You know, I'm going 150 right there.
Mm. And the
What are you going
shame
to
of
do?
well, this is it. And I know they've just announced now, or earlier on today, they announced the next week on Raw, or this week's Raw now. It will be the Bloodline versus New Day. That as an art, it's really annoyed me because I just feel like there's a massive story there to tell. Why are you just throwing it together like that as though it's a ratings grab?
Oh, yeah. Because they are desperate for no reason either. And I'll say for no reason with conviction, and people go, whoa, the AEW's kicking ass right now. I'll get to why. They're desperate for no reason. But this is that's a Survivor Series match made in heaven right there, correct?
I still think we're going to get that. I think there'll be some kind of screwy finish on it. Probably involving Mr. Lesnar and Lashley somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, what next? You're absolutely right. What next? And I don't know who they could feud with. Obviously, you're going to have the Bobby Lashley rebuttal, where all of a sudden he sold his leg out of nowhere in a terrible fashion. You know, like after the match, do you remember he got up after slamming Orton through the table, and then all of a sudden, oops, I tweaked something. Like, can you at least sell that during the match? You know, and
Yeah.
Big E came out acting like a heel. Yeah, you remember when the babyface would come in and smack the guy in the face?
Yeah.
Backwards. Stupid.
Yeah. Right. I mean, as I say, I made up he's won the title. I think he's well deserved. He's actually a Grand Slam champion now as well, interestingly. But
Why?
again,
Why do you think that is?
he's a good talent. He's a very good talent. You know, I hope now that he's back on Raw and he's got the title, he mingles in with New Day again, because I did not like Big E on his own.
It's a cartoon.
No, didn't like him on his own. I'd also like to see him get a bit more aggressive and be a bit more nasty rather than just being this cartoon champion, because
Which means, go ahead.
It's never gonna last if that's the case.
Yep.
You know, maybe break up New Day.
Thank you.
Have infused it, one of them. That could be a good story to tell. Keep the belt on him longer. Ready-made feud there, isn't it?
I've been making that for 18 months. I've been saying that.
Or the other interesting one would be for Roman to lose the title and then have a Roman Big E feud to last for a while. And you could keep that going because you could use the Bloodline and the New Day to do it.
But what about Lesnar?
Lesnar Lashley?
But that takes away the Paul Heyman dynamic. See, they're booking themselves into crappy angles just as a knee-jerk reaction to AEW. You have tailor-made stuff going on, and
I mean, the other thing is, you know, are they trying to swerve away from the Lesnar angle because they want to pull it out till WrestleMania? Because as we've said before, and the rumors are really strong about The Rock not appearing until the year after. So, you know,
Aren't you going to that? Aren't you going to that?
I am. But no, so what you do there, who'd you put with Roman in WrestleMania next year? Do you know what I mean?
In reality, I could see them they could have done something with a Rollins.
But do people want to see that?
I would.
I think I might have seen it a bit too many times.
Yeah, but we've seen it as Reigns as a babyface and Rollins as a heel. So especially, but that dynamic isn't where I thought they could have had that entry point to that dynamic. But now, I mean, I thought something like an Edge Lesnar would have been cool too.
Yeah.
Let's face it, this company is not thinking 6 months ahead anymore.
No. But
those
they will
days
be
are long gone.
They will be soon. They will be soon. I think they'll realize, you know, that they can't just be doing it the way they're doing, because eventually the chickens will come home to roost and it won't last anymore. The ratings won't go up because of just a quick grab, you know, and the companies, the television companies will demand a solid, you know, a secure rating, as we call it, a stable rating. They want a stable rating rather than, oh, we're going to throw something out this week and get a spike. They want it every week. They want a nice every week, and I think in the end, WWE will realize that they need to start building the storylines and keeping it nice and to keep people interested rather than just like as I say there. Look how big of a story that could have been the Bloodline versus New Day, and it's like, wait, here you go, Monday night, let's have it.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, it's either that or a rematch that's been going on for 4 weeks. They don't know what they're doing anymore. So long-term booking, I'm not going to pat AEW on the back for that, but at least they have some plans and a blueprint. It looks like these guys just,
I think AEW are very good long-term booking for the main events. Mid-card, they're terrible. And that's where I think they need to, where I think WWE is terrible across the board.
Mid-card's disgusting there, man. The mid-card right now is just all jokes. You can have a comedy angle, but they're having too much stuff, man. But I will say one of the craziest things I saw, but behind the announce table at Raw, I noticed this. There was at least in the same shot, at least 4 Matt Riddle and RKO shirts on kids. Like I saw countless of them. It was something that I took note of, and I said, "Wow, they got something here with these." I couldn't believe it. So maybe they'll sell scooters.
Yeah. One thing that's it. But to be fair, if in the opening segment, when Riddle started going Randy, the whole crowd were with him, and that shows you that they're buying into Riddle. You know what I mean? Obviously, they always love Randy Orton, but it was Riddle who was directing the crowd, and the crowd were responding to him. They were going with him. And to me, that that shows you, doesn't it? You know what I mean? That they're buying into Riddle's character. Just talk about mid card, the Viking Raiders, Drew McIntyre versus Rhea Shanky and Jinder Mahal says it all for me. Not even going to discuss that match because it doesn't deserve discussion. One match I did want to discuss before we move on from Raw is the Damian Priest Jeff Hardy match. Good match in my opinion. Really good match.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And if you're going to put a throwaway match in like this, fine. Do you know what I mean? No problem at all.
Because you and I couldn't predict that was going to be a match last week.
But also,
and that's what we like.
Yeah, of course. But also, the fact of the matter is, if you look at that match, if I see that match, I'm going to be like, I'm interested because 2 good workers working together.
Yep.
And you think to yourself, okay, it was like Edge versus Rollins at SummerSlam. I felt like the story was, it was there, it was all right and stuff like that. But I picked that match out on SummerSlam, not for the storyline, but because I thought it will be a really good wrestling match. And it was.
That's the one that we said was going to be the match in the night.
Exactly, but that was down to the wrestling, not down to the storyline or what it meant or anything like that. We knew it was going to be a good, well-worked match. And that's what I felt like with this one. I felt like I didn't need to see a storyline. If you're going to do these pop-up matches and just pop a match from nowhere and go, okay, them two are going to face them two, at least look at it very, very logically and try and get a nice mash of people together.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And have a nice match like Jinder Mahal and bloody Drew McIntyre. And it's a no from me. Jeff Hardy versus Priest. Yes, it's a yes from me because it's a well mixed in match. This week's War, I'm going to give a 3 out of 5. A lot of people are ranting on saying it was great. Oh, it's brilliant. It's awesome. For me, apart from the main event and the opening segments, it was shite.
Because it's Muppet Babies and SmackDown is the Muppet Show. You're directing that for children. It's so, look at all the colors that New Day has. Look at the way that Matt Riddle talks to children and directs it, and that's fine. I'm not into that. I want to see guys, big dudes, beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
That's what we like seeing back in the day. That's why back in the day when you had the gang warfare, it sucked in retrospect, but we like seeing these guys come in and beat the crap out of each other. And we're talking about 16 guys at once.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, no, even Riddle, I don't mind the Riddle bits and the bobs like that because he can wrestle as well. And that's fine by me. That's okay. But the rest of it just didn't seem like it meant anything. it was just kind of throwaway matches in the middle for nothing.
Who were they marketing Riddle to, though?
Oh, to the kids, yeah, of course. The kids, but to be fair, as an adult, I like Riddle as well.
I think he's a great wrestling talent too.
But I like his old gimmick as well.
Yeah, the laid back chill, this is what our version was RVD.
Yeah.
Think about that.
I know, but it's just, as I say, out of what we've got, I think it's one of the best things we've got, Arcade Bro, at the moment. But I just thought the rest of the show was
right.
No, I just think the rest of the show for me was just kind of filler in the build up to this title match at the end.
Do you think we have high standards, or do you think the rest of the audience has low standards? I think it's low standards. I really do.
I think on Raw at the moment, yeah. I think everyone's got low standards on it, and I think it gets some good reviews based on the fact that it's better than what people's expectation is.
Yeah,
probably the best way to say it with that. All right, well, we'll move on from Raw anyway. Next, NXT 2.0. Great show for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, 110% agree with you, man.
That's a really good vibe. The Index wedding for me was really, really well done. I said to you when we were talking about it, it reminds me of around circa 1996 in wrestling. Really liked it. I also liked Rick Steiner's lad in NXT, but I didn't like his name.
No, they are not wanting any Steiner reference to him.
No, I know, but I don't get why not.
There's no reason to not do that. If I guarantee at some point they're going to say, "Oh well, this is the son of Steiner," when they actually come to their senses, because it sounds like they're coming to their senses.
Did you not notice on the commentary when he turned around and said, he's of dog face gremlin standards? So he made a little nod to it there, didn't he? Without actually going into it, you know what I mean?
You could tell whose son that was just by looking at shoulders.
He looks more like Scott for me than Rick.
Yeah.
Looks like Punk more than he looks like Rick for me, but
I wanted to see. I would love it if he did some math, though.
Yeah. Other match you want to mention on?
You got a 33% chance of me actually taking Scott Steiner's name.
One of the match I wanted to mention on this was the Imperium versus Jensen and Briggs. I love the Imperium. Love them.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
And the other two lads didn't look too bad either. Jensen and Briggs looked okay.
Yeah.
But, I thought the Imperium were just really, really good in this match. And to me, they are main card level wrestlers.
They'll never get there, though. Unfortunately. That's like FTR and them facing off.
Yeah. Okay. So
one thing I didn't understand is how, and the guy who won the tournament a couple weeks ago, now he's all of a sudden heel. Carmelo Hayes is now heel, and he brought out his Trick Williams guy.
Yeah.
I don't know where certain people on social media and critics of wrestling grew up from, but were raised, and they're double my age, almost double their age, almost double my age. Why are they saying that they need to insert a jive talking bodyguard for Carmelo Hayes?
You know what they're like? It's WWE fear, isn't it? They're probably looking at him. They probably don't like him on the mic, or they think that he's not believable as a championship contender. Let's put a bodyguard with him.
Right, but if Dave Meltzer is telling people that this is the jive person for Carmelo Hayes, first of all, this is an airplane. Okay.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Jive? Stupid.
One thing I'll say though is, do not take what Dave Meltzer says as a pinch of salt at the moment, because he's having a lot of boo-boos at the moment, Uncle Dave, isn't he?
Oh, bad.
And the thing is, the towns are coming out and saying, no, that wasn't the case. No, that wasn't the case. He's getting really...
different people too. Have you noticed, like, people from different spectrums?
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, there's some stuff going on with Andrade and Charlotte, you know, and they're obviously doing each other, literally. But you know, there's some people that are just like, who is this clown? And it's right. But yeah, I don't know. There was one thing I did like, and I like Ciampa becoming champion there. They want that veteran to get these guys over, and I like the tease that they did with Braun Breaker. Because it's like, I'm coming for you, and this guy has as soon as he came out there, you knew he was a champion.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay. One thing I'm just gonna say now. Really good show. The ending sucked for me.
Oh, the handshake of doom?
Nope. The result
of champion being the champion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm a Ciampa fan.
I'm a Ciampa fan, but NXT 2.0, new start, Ciampa.
Oh, you didn't like the guy that's been there for 7 years?
Mm-hmm.
You're right. It doesn't make sense.
No.
I like Ciampa winning, but it doesn't make sense.
No.
There's not much that's going to make sense in this company now.
I like Ciampa, and it's nothing against the Masso at all. I'm a real fan of his. Love the whole Goldie storyline and all that stuff. But as I say, he's going down this new route. It's where this and all the rest of it. Of new start 2.0. Give it to an old guy that's been there for so long.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's have the only man in the match that has won the title. Win the title again. If you go with Pete Dunne, he's finally got there. LA Knight, reached the top of the thing. Von Wagner, it's a new era. No, Ciampa.
That Von Wagner thing was interesting on how they actually brought him into it. It was just really random too.
It was, but one thing I will say is I loved it.
Yeah.
And I even loved William Regal's comment when it was like, all right, son, we'll throw you into the fire. And away he went. And I really enjoyed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought it was very well done. Very well done.
I'm a fan. Like, I get that. You and I were calling for LA Knight, though. We thought LA was going to win that thing.
Yeah. Well,
I was calling for LA.
Yeah, Pete Dunne, I was going for, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Which would have been cool. I think Pete Dunne deserved it, but
what do you do with Knight with 2 losses
I don't think Knight's ever going to get to the title. In the old NXT, he probably would have, but in the new NXT, nah.
Okay. You know what I do right now? I'd bring him up. I'd bring him up right now.
Yeah. If you're not going to give him the title there or use him, just throw him up in the top end.
Yep.
Potentially.
Because Breaker now is skyrocketed to quote unquote main level.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how what happens with Pete Dunne now, because he's just signed a new contract.
Good for him.
So, he has progressed from NXT UK to the main NXT. Do we see him popping up on the main roster now?
He should.
He should do, and I think he will do eventually. Maybe not straight away.
Could you imagine matches him and Cesaro?
Yeah.
Awesome.
And this is what I'm on about as well. Like, if you want to fill a mid-card with non-storyline matches, then have the likes of Dunne versus Cesaro, or bring up Ciampa and have him face against Nakamura. There's matches there to be had with them people. And if you don't want to, give us matches we haven't seen either before or in a very long time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it'd be interesting to see how they go with that. But I see there's going to be a lot of changing of the guard of that. But, it is what it is. Right. So we're going to move on to AEW Dynamite.
Do you want to do SmackDown first, just to get into the WWE?
Yeah. SmackDown was crap. Moving on.
What did they? Yeah, I agree. I did not like SmackDown whatsoever.
No.
It was good to see Kane though. Man, he's looking old.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole SmackDown, the whole thing that they done for Bianca. Thought it was good, but just all in all, mate, I liked Big E on there. I'll tell you that much. I like Big E showing on there. Obviously, that was setting up for the Bloodline versus the New Day on Raw. But just having Big E on there was kind of cool. But the promo by Reigns was good again. I feel like he's just very, very stable at the moment and just delivers week after week after week. Yep. One thing I will say about I don't want to spend too much time on SmackDown because it was just poor, but one thing I will say is I thought the Big E and Finn Balor versus the Usos match was done very, very well. I thought Balor and Big E like kind of got all their moves in that they wanted to together, and they worked well together, and it come out well at the end.
Why do you say I'm gonna unleash the demon and then you subject him? All right, the demon, who is a maniacal character, he's crazy, he's unpredictable. Oh, he's gonna cooperate with somebody else.
But he hasn't put the demon out yet, though, has he? Do you know what I mean?
Stupid.
Don't forget. Do you know how long it takes to paint him in that?
Yeah, but then they're gonna have him wrestle and then sweat, and then it's gonna take him even longer. Tuck him away. Seriously, let him come out when he comes out for Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
It's little nuances and little pieces of storytelling that they just do like crap. And that's one of them. Big E did not need to team with him. Could have put Cesaro with him.
Yeah. One thing I will say
if the fans couldn't tell, we're Cesaro marks.
Yeah, very much so. Okay, the other match we have Boogs versus Rude. The best thing about that match is that the name's kind of rhyme.
Yes.
We had Happy Corbin attack Kevin Owens before the match even started. Don't know why. What was the point? I am liking Happy Corbin though. I'm liking the way he's got his money back and the story they've told with him. Great. Not a bad fan. And then again, mid-card madness. We had Liv Morgan and Toni Storm delete Carmella and Selena Vega. What a story that is.
Isn't it?
They've built so well to this match and told us so much about how Storm and Liv Morgan have come together, and you know, it's so well done.
It's what dreams are made of.
Yeah.
You know?
And then also we had Sami Zayn versus Dominic Mysterio again.
It's great.
You know, the first match was explained that he was teaching them a lesson. Fine, happy with that. But now we're into just doing it again because they've worked together, so let's just put them back together again.
The problem is that your fans are actually in the stadium cheering. If I was a kid,
the problem that you're always going to have though with wrestling, I think, is they're happy to be there because they don't get a chance to go. You know, it's not like an every week occurrence, is it? You know, with these crowds, and that's why I don't always take on board what a crowd reaction is, because you know they got a massive pop. There's a difference between a massive pop because you're happy to see somebody, or happy to see somebody win, or happy because somebody's done something, and then there's a pop because I haven't been to a wrestling event in over a year, or they haven't come round my town for the last 18 months. You know, they come to Liverpool once every so often, and when they come, I go and I'll stand there and I'll pop and cheer and everything, because I just want to enjoy the experience, and I don't really get involved in the whole sitting there and trying to assess matches and nothing like that at that point. So because of COVID, the shine is still there. I get that. I don't even think it's necessarily just because of COVID, Dale. I think it's you know, because a live crowd will always pop to a certain extent, because you know you're in New York, yeah. When was the last time WWE come to your neck of the woods?
Before the Garden Show, it was a couple of years at least.
So the people in that Garden Show are going to be happy to see
so it's
them.
been a couple of years.
Yeah. I mean, but you're probably talking what a good 10, 12 months between each show on a normal world, not pandemic world.
We have a few different stadiums here, so you can't really skew it by me. But let's say somebody like Kentucky had their own ordeal because you couldn't even perform in Kentucky for years because of a blood situation in the 90s. That's a true story if anybody wants to look that up. But let's say Massachusetts, they were maybe at Massachusetts every 9 months. I'd say they were, in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were at New York every 9 months as well. Remember,
Yeah.
Connecticut's not too far from there.
Even that, though, if it comes through every 9 months, you look at it and you think to yourself, these crowds, it's like, oh, they're back around again. They're excited to go and see a live show. It's like you go to pictures sometimes and you're excited to see a show. I've watched the film on the pictures and thought it was okay and quite good. And then I've watched it again when it's come out on TV and I thought it was rubbish.
Yeah, I see that. But you're expecting that from the same movie. You're watching the same exact movie. I don't want to go there and see, Sami Zayn and Dominic Mysterio for a while. I remember, you would see SmackDown, and 9 months later, you would go to SmackDown again, and you would see completely different faces.
Yeah, and that's the problem we have at the moment. But it's also like this kind of where you expect to get it, you want to get involved and participate, and it's like, this match is scheduled for 1-4, 1-4. It's just that everyone just shouts it because it's part of the experience of going to an event, and that's where I think it's at. That's why when everyone goes up with the crowd pops, it's like, man, take your crowd pop and bye, because to me it doesn't mean anything. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. It's okay to boo, guys. It's okay to boo.
Yeah. I thought Becky Lynch was okay in a little bit. Not too bad. Still not liking her as a heel, but
nope.
Here's what it is.
Nope. When she was the man, she was a anti-hero, and that's cool. Now she's trying to be a heel. She sucks. Her outfit sucked. The way she looks, the smugness sucks. No, it's not working for me.
She just
it's
looks like
so
a female
unauthentic.
Seth Rollins to me.
They can't even do that right, man, because they're not working together.
Yeah.
It'll come out where she will. Seth's going to help her, and then it'll make sense.
Yeah. Well, for me, it was a 2 out of 10 show. It's a 2 out of 5. Sorry, 2 out of 10. What about yourself?
I'll go with the 2 out of 10.
Okay, though. Right, let's move on to the savior of wrestling. I'm really joking, but to be fair, it was really good this week again. AEW. Maybe it's because I'm in that demographic, but I'm loving it at the moment.
Key demo.
Yeah. I'm a demo. I'm going to start calling myself the demo mark.
Like I said, when they have Mark Henry do the split screen during Rampage, I'm calling that Mark the Marks.
First match we had on the card was awesome.
Yeah.
I said last week I thought Frankie Kazarian was a really good first opponent for Adam Cole. Obviously, he's the elite hunter, and Adam Cole's in the elite. But really good technical match. Adam Cole did not miss a beat in this match, and neither did Frankie. And I thought the two of them put on a really solid technical wrestling match.
Frankie loves to bring in these new people. He did the same thing with Christian Cage. He was the first match for Cage. They're going to say, hey, you know what? We're going to have you be the match. And that's what I appreciate out of him. Just such a gamer, man. He's such a gamer. He's just a guy that they can trust with these talents.
Yeah.
And let's not kid ourselves. Cole is so talented. He's just, to me, he's mixed in with the wrong people. Yeah. But Cole is so talented. Especially, I might like it when he takes over the elite. That's something
I don't think he's gonna. So I'm gonna go on to I always watch Being the Elite online. I watch it when I'm on YouTube. I watch it when I'm in work or whatever else. I'll catch it along the way. It's more of a time filler for me than something I actively try and push to watch every week. But I find myself watching it whether I'm waiting for the train or whatever it may, or I'm on the train or whatever. And made me laugh again, where it looks like they're already teasing Cole to turn his back on them. Because he
They
was going
should.
to them. Because he was saying, "Where's Adam Page? Oh, where's Hangman? I'm gonna go and find Adam." And they're like, "He might be about somewhere. I don't know where he is." And then they go to give him a drink again. And as we said when they killed him in the being the elite when he joined WWE, but then Cole turns around and goes, "I keep this for later." And there's just that little bit of kind of like trying to plant a bit of a seed there. Do you know what I mean?
Do people watch that? Being the
Mm.
elite?
I do,
All right.
yeah. As I say, I just watch it because it's something that fills me time.
If you're an EVP, can't you lobby to have little things like that on the show?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about that.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But these idiots are so vain and trying to get ratings just so you could tell me something like that. Okay. In the hopes that, hey, word of mouth, this works. I'm not watching their shit. They're not for me. But why isn't that on TV? You're planting the seed for a comeback that is tailor made.
But maybe this is where they're just doing it through the being the elite, and then they will release it on screen when the time is right, and then it'll float no rather than telling people to go and watch it now and find out the bits. Do you know what I mean?
But why wait? If you want to talk about long-term storytelling, make it even longer. This is what I don't get what they do. Tony, if I don't understand why Tony just didn't do something like that. They probably didn't even bring it up to him because they got so much TV. You know why? We need to see Rosario Dawson. I'm sorry, Malachi Black sell for Rosario Dawson.
Yeah.
You guys failed miserably. Please, you have an awesome dude coming in here. Looks badass. He's putting on some good matches, but he's working with what he has right now. Like we were talking about Dustin last week. We're talking about now he comes to the ring and there's Rosario Dawson, a co-host of Cody, who just shows up through the crowd. Cody sucks.
Yeah.
He sucks out loud. Like if you're going to do an entrance where you're blacked out and stuff like that, that's the time to do it.
See, the thing is, I'm going to go back to the crowds now. The crowd popped to them.
Because they wanted to hit him.
But that's what I mean. Just because the crowds are popping doesn't mean it's good. Just to go back to the Adam Cole Kazarian first segment.
I'm sorry, I should have cut you off on that.
No, you're all good, to be honest with you. I'm glad you got that out the way because I didn't even want to mention Cody and Alistair because it's doing me head in.
If he tries that right where, just for 1 second, I'm going to be sitting where he came through next week. If he tries that, I'm going to have somebody else do something to him. Yeah. I'm not going to risk
it. Yeah. After the match when Cole and Kazarian, Cole turns around and says, "There's people that have gone under the skin, Jungle Boy and Christine Cage and so the Jurassic Express. Why? Why have they got under your skin? What have they done to you, mate?" It just annoyed me. I'm happy to see that match. Young Bucks and Adam Cole versus the Jurassic Express and Christine Cage, fine. I'll have that match all day week. But I just don't get that comment of these have annoyed me all the way through.
I understand. And that's because online, Adam Cole is being compared to Marco Stunt's height. So that would get under my skin too.
We should have explained that better because I just didn't think of it. CM Punk on commentary, keeping him on TV, I suppose. Needs to start wrestling. Needs to start wrestling. Yeah. They need to stop with the whole it's CM Punk and actually do a storyline with him now and do something properly with him. Really annoying, but yeah.
And guess what they're doing? And guess who's really happy for that too? Look what that led into. My friend, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing my boy Hobbs. And he's going to be fighting Punk. You have no idea how happy that makes me.
No, good match, but I think they just need to stop these throwaway matches with him now and put him in a proper program. MJF. What a man. What a man. What a man. Do you know what?
I sent that promo to my brother and I say, and he doesn't watch AEW, but he goes, God, he's incredible.
Yeah. Do you know what I done the other day? I was had a little bit of spare time, and I literally typed in on YouTube MJF promos and was just entertained for about 45 minutes. And the guy's just awesome. It's got to be a future champion there. Whether he gets that far, I don't know, but he's got to.
Yeah. If they shoot him to the moon, it's got to be within the next 2 years, though.
Yeah.
It's after a Wardlow program, though.
Yeah. Yes, of course, yeah. And I think Pillman's done really well here. And one thing I will say is I like that JR interview with Brian Pillman Jr. And I like the way he said about when his dad called when he was in Atlanta to tell him that he's had a little boy in. Good, very, very good story.
Pillman's got it. Pillman has a career there, and I'm happy to actually watch him because he's got a great look too. You know?
Yeah.
Can you picture him in a suit?
No.
Can you picture him going to work with you every day?
I can imagine him being a loose cannon. No,
with like a 9mm. With a 9mm.
The way he's quite kind of happy now and happy-go-lucky at the moment is could change him down the line, and it'll be awesome changing. Other bits too. I'll just say we're not going to go over the whole of Dynamite. One thing I do want to mention is Jericho coming out with Lambert and having his little verbal joust with Lambert. How awkward did the American top tier MMA fighters look in that ring?
They're the people that are definitely not believers in the pen is mightier than the sword.
Yeah,
they're just and actions speak louder than words.
Yeah, I mean, apart from Paige Van Zandt, which I see her going into wrestling long term anyway. I don't know why she's not already in it, but I do see her going in there. She's made for wrestling. Because,
yeah,
you know, aesthetically she looks nice and whatnot. But
well, they had Layla Hirsch on there, and you know, they could use other shooters like that. By the way, she's very talented.
Yeah,
for a girl her size, she's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what do you think of Jade? What do you think of Jade Cargill?
Well, this is what I was just going to say here. So, moving on from the Jericho bit, not really much to say there. It was a bit of kept them on the show. Jade Cargill, I think, is getting groomed for the title. Whether that is now or whether that's in a little while, I do not know. But she's been racking up the wins very, very quietly. They've put Mark Sterling with her, which I think was a good pairing. And the fact that they've they're paying a manager to be with her. Because this is what you got to remember is, even though it's a shoot, they still have to pay Mark Sterling to appear with her. So the fact that I always think in wrestling is they've nowadays, probably not as much in the olden days, but now, if they put a manager with you, it's because they see something in you or they want to do something with you. Because otherwise, they don't put a manager with somebody.
They did it with Nyla and Vicky. They did terrible turns with Andrade, who was upset with his manager for helping him win, and then win after a statistician who wanted to manage. Anyway, but yeah, Smart Mark is just excellent with his promos. If you take a look at how he speaks, he's speaking to you. He's not speaking at his wrestler. He's speaking to you, and he feels that he's directed towards you. Like I said, you guys know my wife does not watch wrestling. He heard a promo about Jade Cargill's shirt and how it's they're sold out, and they brought up the merchandise that AEW was selling, and they said, he goes, well, here's the Dark Order t-shirt. They sold out of 2XLs, which is typical, and I would find that, you know, he's like, that was something I expected. My wife laughed because she, guys, just of how things roll off his tongue, and he said, you know, the 2XLs sold out because the Dark Order fans are all overweight.
Okay, so
are they done yet? Are they done yet?
Got the Dark Order.
Yeah.
No. Blade's going to come in as the savior. Apart from that, Darby Allin's defeated Sean Spears. I'm going to wrap all this up a little bit, mate, because I've obviously, you know, we want to keep it for the algorithms, as we call it.
Absolutely.
Darby Allin's defeated Sean Spears. Darby doesn't have a bad match. Really good match again. Happy with that. Like the finish as well. I like the way that Tully hit Sting with the Cheney no shoulder. I like the way they do that type of thing with Sting. But I also like the way Tully wiped all his face paint off with a towel.
Good.
um,
I'm gonna make you into Steve Borden.
The only thing I'm a little bit concerned, I'm not concerned, confused more than anything else is what they're going to do with them. Yeah, what they're kind of trying to achieve. I haven't got it yet, but that might not necessarily be a bad thing because I'm interested to see what it actually ends up. But we see there. Right, other things on that show, Kingsley and Mox got put back together because they had nothing else for them. Because obviously they're going to go in against Archer and Suzuki next week on the Homecoming or whatever it's bloody called.
I'm calling it. I'm taking a bathroom break that time.
Yeah, good lad. And then the big news for that, we're going to wrap it up after the Dynamite. Big news for this week was the Omega Bryan match for next week. Made up, it's happening. I think it'll be a great match. I just hope they do a screwy finish. The first time ever I want to see a screw finish of some sort, whether it's a double count out, whether it's do you know, I wouldn't even mind a a time limit on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think that would actually be very good. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to be there live.
Yeah.
So everybody, just letting everybody know, I'm going to give you a nice little caveat as far as how the AEW feel is, because I don't think I've ever seen any videos as far as what a live experience is there, especially for New York. So I'm going to take pictures. I'll post them on Twitter and everything. Just to let that go, guys. Before we go, I just want to let you know that Rampage was an absolute waste. I watched it with one eye open. Fuego del Sol, you don't need to be on my TV anymore. You've been on too much. I like that Sammy Guevara is actually, probably going after the TNT title, which is cool. AEW Rampage continues to bury the rest of the talent.
Yeah. Until it goes to a 2-hour show, it's always going to be a rubber show in my eyes.
2 hours next week.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yep.
Hopefully it's going to be a good one. Okay, so we're going to wrap it up there then. So Pantera, thanks a lot, mate, or Dale, whatever you want to call it this week.
You can do whatever, guys. You can do whatever.
Do you know what? I just noticed a bit to apologize to you because I always change in between everything.
It's okay. You know what? Everybody knew Batman was Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Except I have no money compared to him.
I wish I had half his money. But thanks for joining me as always, mate. Really, really good week in wrestling this week. I think we could have gone a lot longer. Obviously, we always try and keep it within the algorithms for YouTube. But just a really good week, and I hope it just keeps going on this momentum. WWE look like they're starting to react to AEW, which stands us in good stead for future of wrestling. And the future looks bright, mate, doesn't it?
Especially with NXT 2.0. We're looking forward to that. And it got you back to watching NXT, right, Andy?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right, mate. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure that you do give us a like and subscribe and a little comment. One thing I've noticed through the YouTube algorithms and whatnot is a lot of people are watching a lot more of our content in terms of the duration they're watching, which is really, really good. So if you're sitting there watching us and you're watching us for a long time, make sure you comment and give us a like, and we'll interact with you on there. We're always watching the comments and we'll always comment straight back to people and stuff. So make sure you do. Anyway, guys, thanks very much for tuning in. We will see you again, same time, same place next week.
See you guys.
Take care, guys. Bye now.